Good evening. Mr. Minister of Economy and Finance, Head of Guinean Delegation to the Assemblies of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, Ministers, Ambassadors, Mr. Governor of the Central Bank of the Republic of Guinea, Dr. Donald Kaberuka, High Representatives of African Union for the financing of African Union and the Fund for Peace. Mr. Salmon Kaino, Vice President, Private Sector, Infrastructure, Industrialization, African Bank Development, members of the Guinean delegation, distinguished guests in your rank and capacities, all protocol observed. I am honored to welcome the Guinean delegation to the 2024 IMF and World Bank annual meetings, and at the same time to welcome the distinguished government guests to the round table on the presentation of the Simandu 2040 program by the Ministry of Planning and International Cooperation. On behalf of the staff of the Guinean Embassy in Washington, D.C., and on myself, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our distinguished guests for honoring this important roundtable with their presence. The event that brings us this afternoon is central to the vision of the Guinean head of state, the General President Mamadi Doumbouya, to make Guinea an emerging country by 2024. L'événement qui nous réunit cet après-midi s'inscrit au cœur de la vision du chef de l'État, le président de la République, le général Mamadi Doumbouya, à faire de la Guinée un pays émergent à l'horizon 2040. De la négociation à sa mise en œuvre et son intégration dans le plan de développement guinéen, ce méga-projet est la preuve concrète de cet engagement visant à accélérer le développement économique harmonieux auquel les populations guinéennes aspirent. Aujourd'hui, il est évident que le changement dans la gouvernance est réel. La Guinée est en chantier à travers la réalisation des infrastructures routières et la fourniture des services sociaux de base. Les mesures prises pour lutter contre la corruption et le détournement des deniers publics dans le pays augurent un avenir radieux pour la Guinée. En effet, le projet dont il est question sera présenté dans toutes ses dimensions par Monsieur le ministre du Plan et de la Coopération internationale. Dans ce cadre, il donnera un aperçu du programme Simandu 2040, sa planification stratégique, son impact économique sur la Guinée, les priorités pour le développement et les opportunités d'investissement et de coopération internationale. Je ne saurais terminer sans exprimer mes sincères félicitations à la délégation guinéenne pour le bon déroulement de sa mission qui a débuté le 21 octobre 2024 par des rencontres de haut niveau qui a déjà permis d'obtenir des résultats probants. Je souhaite plein succès à cette table ronde. Je vous remercie de votre haute attention.
Excellence, Monsieur Mohana Souma, ministre de l'Économie et des Finances de la République de Guinée, sous vos applaudissements.
Merci. Mesdames et Messieurs les membres du gouvernement, Mesdames et Messieurs les corps diplomatiques et consulaires, Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants des organisations internationales et des agences de coopération, Madame l'ambassadrice de la Guinée à Washington, Mesdames et Messieurs les hauts cadres guinéens, honorables invités, en vos qualités, grades distingués. C'est un honneur pour moi de partager avec vous ce moment historique à l'occasion de la table ronde Advancing Simandou 2040. Je voudrais souhaiter à mon tour la bienvenue aux éminentes personnalités représentant les institutions de financement du développement des pays amis et des hommes d'affaires. Je voudrais, au nom du président de la République, le général Mamadi Doumbouya, du Premier ministre chef de gouvernement et de mes collègues, remercier chacun de vous pour avoir répondu à notre invitation pour participer à cette importante rencontre. Ceci traduit l'intérêt tout particulier que vous accordez au développement du monde entier de façon générale et celui de la Guinée en particulier. Grâce à une coopération multilatérale inclusive, nous pouvons gagner la lutte contre la pauvreté, premier objectif du développement durable. Mesdames et Messieurs, distingués invités, l'événement de ce jour se tient dans un contexte international difficile, marqué par une continuité apparente de la croissance autour de 3,2% en 2024 et en 2025, en lien avec les crises géoéconomiques. En dépit de ce contexte, couplé de l'explosion du dépôt central de Conakry en fin d'année 2023, la Guinée a enregistré une croissance économique forte que prévue ces dernières années. Le taux est passé de 4% en 2022 à 6,2% en 2023 et pouvait se situer à 6,1% en 2024 avant d'atteindre 7% en 2025. C'est d'ailleurs la projection affichée par les services techniques de FMI. Cette résilience est soutenue par des secteurs clés tels que les mines, ça se comprend dans la phase de construction de Simandou, donc beaucoup d'injections quand même de liquidités, les infrastructures et l'agriculture. En prenant en compte de manière exhaustive les effets redistributifs de la phase de construction du projet Simandou, 650 km de lignes ferroviaires, le ministre du Plan donnera largement de grosses informations sur ces éléments. La croissance pourrait être plus importante. La mise en œuvre du vaste programme d'investissement public, notamment en faveur du réseau routier, a permis d'inverser la tendance haussière des prix. Ainsi, à partir de 2025, la Guinée pourrait satisfaire pour la première fois le critère de convergence de la CEDEAO lié à l'inflation inférieure ou égale à 5%. Les effets endogènes des réformes des finances publiques et l'extension de la couverture statistique pourraient porter la pression fiscale au-dessus de la moyenne régionale et maintenir le déficit budgétaire dans les limites du seuil communautaire inférieure ou égale à 3%. L'exécution des dépenses publiques accorde une attention particulière aux couches vulnérables, à la préservation de l'environnement et à la question du genre. La politique monétaire reste prudente. Je ne m'empresse pas parce que le gouverneur donnera quelques éléments sur ce segment de la politique économique d'ensemble. Enfin, le secteur extérieur présente aussi des perspectives favorables. Si la balance commerciale est toujours excédentaire, le compte courant présente un déficit beaucoup plus prononcé. Là également, c'est un élément sur lequel M. le gouverneur de la Banque centrale pourra donner des explications y afférentes. Ces résultats strictement hautement reconnus et appréciés par tous ont permis à la Guinée de se hisser et de se maintenir dans la catégorie des pays à revenus intermédiaires. Mesdames et messieurs, distingués invités, cette belle trajectoire amorcée depuis le 5 septembre 2021 sera consolidée par la phase d'exploitation de Simandou. Selon les études réalisées sur l'impact de ce méga projet par mes services techniques, Simandou devrait avoir un impact positif important sur l'économie guinéenne. Les effets directs de ce méga projet devraient accroître le produit intérieur brut. Il devrait en outre contribuer à l'expansion des autres secteurs et branches économiques. C'est les effets indirects. Ces derniers enregistrent une hausse de leurs activités économiques d'environ 24 milliards de USD sur la période 2022-2040. Mesdames et messieurs, chers invités, les retombées économiques de la construction et de l'exploitation d'un méga-projet comme Simandou sont immenses et étroitement liées à son degré d'intégration à l'environnement socio-économique social, c'est-à-dire l'aspect du contenu local. C'est pourquoi je vous invite à nous rejoindre en Guinée. Très rapidement, je vous garantis que vous y trouverez des valeurs actuelles nettes et des taux de rentabilité internes inégalables. Honorables invités, mesdames et messieurs, je voudrais pour terminer inviter les pays amis, les institutions et organisations bilatérales et multilatérales, selon leur domaine de prédilection, à s'associer à la présente initiative pour baliser le chemin de la prospérité pour nos populations. Vive la Guinée, vive la coopération internationale, que Dieu bénisse la Guinée. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup. Excellence Madame l'ambassadeur de la Guinée aux États-Unis, à Washington, chers collègues ministres, ministre des Finances, ministre du Budget, Madame la ministre de l'Environnement, Monsieur le gouverneur de la Banque centrale, chers collègues de l'administration guinéenne, chers invités, je vois nos amis un peu partout, ça nous fait plaisir de voir nos partenaires, nos amis, mais aussi que ce soit nos amis financiers, mais aussi techniques. Monsieur le ministre, c'est un plaisir de vous recevoir ici ce soir. Merci beaucoup pour votre visite. En attendant, je demande le registre. On a préparé une présentation qui va aller au fur et à mesure. Donc, monsieur le directeur, en attendant qu'on s'étape la technicité, vous savez toujours, c'est un problème. Chaque fois qu'on veut présenter, donc monsieur le directeur du plan va nous passer. Mais donc déjà, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to welcome each one of you today. We see some good friends from Africa, from Middle East, from Asia, I mean, from Europe, but most importantly from America. So it's good to have all of you here today. You know, we talk about project and program. I think we're going to have a great session with ministers, talk about this program, this vision of the head of state, vision of the president. That vision, as the president likes to say, you need to stand to the temptation of the man and the time. So it's not for him only, it's for the generation to come. So while I was, this is the program, as I said, there's a project which everybody's been talking about it. We have a great friend here who was with us all stepped away to try to structure this project, which is a great project. It's about $20 billion to capex. And that project, when you talk about Simandu, I think we have some friend who were talking to me yesterday that really was extremely interesting to see. Simandu we've been talking about the last 20 or 40 years. Now only because of the president it's become a reality. So it's not only a project that we talk mining project, but it's combined to three areas. We have the construction of railway. We have 650 kilometers of construction of railway, but also we have construction of deep ports. A port that from the south of the country to come to the east coast of that part, 650 kilometer railway, the construction of the deep port. But today, this construction is about more than 50% execution. It's executed already. So which means it's no more a project, it's become a reality. There's no returning back. At the same time, the mine itself is gonna be transformed, not only to get the mine from our to put in the train and send elsewhere. We are thinking to transform those mines in Guinea. So refinery is extremely important. So Director, are you ready? Okay, next. So program Simandu, talk about all these agenda. Next. This is just what I was talking just now. So I mean, it's in French, but as we said, it's one of the best or one of the biggest mining project in Guinea. Not only the project, but the quality of the iron ore is one of the quality. The quality of iron ore is the best in the world today. And then also, is not. I mean, the Minister of Environment will talk about it eloquently shortly, because it's one of the green projects. Not only mining project, but it's a green project as well. So the exploitation is taken care of. I mean, we are mindful to international standards. Not only Guinean standard, but international standards. This is why we like to call Simandu project as the United Nations project. Why United Nations? All the countries are represented. You have Rio Tinto, which is, you can see here, Rio Tinto is an English company, but it's an Australian company. We have Chanalco, is a Chinese company. We have Winning, is a Singaporean company. Baowu is a Chinese company. We have Aegis, this is a French company, which means it's the United Nations. Everybody's coming. And then I'm pleased to announce, I see our friend from the United States, we have also American company, Baowu Steel, Waptec. Waptec is the one who providing, I'm seeing our friend from USA here. So, but Waptec will be providing the wagon. That's why we like to start, this project is the United Nations. So everybody's invited. Recently, we were some part in Europe, they don't still open. It's not only those are here today. As you know, United Nations, it was started by a few countries. And then I remember Guinea, we were a member of United Nations today. At that time, the country keep, increasing. It was not 100 plus. When we started United Nations, it was 3 countries. But our project is like United Nations. So don't think that, well, those are here, it's stop. No, we're inviting other people also to come to be part of this manufacturing project. You can see the figure by yourself. It's about 8 billion tons that reserve that we have. Number 1 producer of mine in Africa, the Simandu project. It's going to create more than 60,000, job will be created, direct and indirect job. 150 metric ton in the 3-2 block, because I don't want to go in the detail of the mining project, because if you click today Simandu, you'll get all the details. That this just give you a glimpse of the project itself. So, Director, next. Okay. Well, today, I mean, the bottom, we are just about program. We can't talk about program Simandou without talking about progress Simandou. Because the program itself, as I said, the president wants this program to stand the stampation of men and then the time. Because usually people will tell, oh, every president, one day come, they will do 5 years program. We want a 15-year program and put all the caveat to make sure this product is solid, this vision is solid. No one will come later on to try to remove whatever we have planted today. So it's extremely important to note that this program that we are talking about is also the transforming, because we are using the project to the social economic transformation and green transformation of our country. We are using our friend, I'm very pleased to see our friend from Middle East in the Gulf, they have used the petrol to transform their country. We want to use mining iron ore to transform our country. The way they have used the oil to transform Middle East, Guinea want to use the iron ore and the bauxite to transform our country. We just want to get away from, I think the Minister of Finance is here. I mean, we want to use infrastructure later on. We don't want to all the time go to the Minister of Finance, but infrastructure can find them themselves at the same time, can generate revenues and then do more projects in the country. Next. Next. Okay, in our program in Guinea, we have a couple of programs. We have what we call PNDS, which was 2016-2020. This is the first program we have, plan we have. It was 5 years program, plan. And the next plan was PRI, which is 2022-2025. So what we want to do this time around, to do a program that will be, linked to a specific project. No more literature. So we want to make sure we have 10 projects, we want to do 10 projects. We want to do 15 projects, let's do the 15 projects. So it will be backed by a concrete project moving forward. That's the program we want to do. I mean, as many people know, Côte d'Ivoire, they used to do, since President Bédier's time, they used to call Elephant d'Afrique. Those bridges that the President Ouattara is doing today, those was planned 20 years ago. So Guinea now, we want to plan something solid, to have some project in all fields, not only mining is just a catalytic, but agriculture. Guinea, we have more than 30,000, 30 million hectare arable land. It's an opportunity. Fishery, tourism is an opportunity. So basically, this is the plan that Guinea has been done so far. And then what we are doing right now called Program Simandou 2040. Next. Okay, this is the result. So this is what I'm going to be talking about in detail in the panel. But just to give you an idea, this program is going to be for 5 pillars. The first pillar is agro-industry and commerce. The second pillar is education and culture. The third is infrastructure, transportation, and technology. The fourth is economy, finance, and insurance. And the last one is healthcare. So basically, this is going to be built around these 5 pillars. Usually, we were talking, some of our colleagues were saying, oh, we didn't see our name in the pillar, but it's all combined. So if I take an example for agro-industry and commerce, we want to make sure one state in Conakry, in Guinea, called Mamou, is Ville Carrefour. I see a lady from Mamou, she's smiling. So, but Mamou want to make sure Mamou become a free zone of Guinea. So if I can leave Conakry to go and create my company in Mamou. When I do that, because Minister of Budget is involved, Minister of Commerce is involved, all the ministries are involved, water is involved. So agro-industry, want to do technology, want to do park. If you want to do technology park, you need energy. So therefore, we need to know what is the total quantity of energy Guinea needs to produce in 2040. So therefore, the minister in charge of energy needs to plan himself. It's not like when I said Minister of Energy will do 2 megawatt, 2 gigawatt. It's not, he will do, it is a target. But maybe he can do maybe 1 or perhaps 200 megawatts. The minister who's come after him need to build up to the result that the minister have done. Just to give an example. The third example, or the third cluster or third pilier is infrastructure. As Madam Ambassador and the Minister of Finance mentioned eloquently earlier, in the last 3 years, we've been doing more than 1,000 kilometers of bridges. So moving forward, in the next 15 years, Guinea want to do 10,000 kilometers of bridges. So you do the maths. So which means every year, if we can do 600, I think we're going to achieve the 10,000. Doesn't mean the minister now in charge, the minister is trying to think what he can do in terms of planification to achieve these numbers. So just give you some, but the program Simandu 2040 will be around the 5 pillars. This pillar we'll discuss in deep in the presentation at the panel shortly. Next. So this is just to give you some area about the planification, the project, but at the same time the program. On that note, I'll stop here for a while to play the video that will show you how the project started, how all the negotiation that was going through, and today become a reality. And after that, we'll show you a second video, we'll talk about the vision 2040. As I said, this project, you need to, whoever talked to you about Simandu, because it's become a landmark for Guinea today. The project is one side, the program. The program, the two things, when they ask you what is the program for Simandu, is a program that is a vision for the head of state, but what will stand for the temptation of the man at the time. And the third, this program will be backed to concrete projects moving forward. We have a lot of plans, but we want to execute, we want to use this mind to change the life of our people. You know, fuel and gas was in the Middle East. Guinea is a bauxite and iron ore to change the life of our people. On that note, I stop here for a while. I want to acknowledge our friend from the IMF, World Bank. Those are hosting us today, so they are working with us for our development. Just want to acknowledge, their presence here today. Our friend from USAID, the minister from Senegal, and then our friend from Kuwait. We have from Europe. I mean, I don't want to say it, but rest assured, we really upload, and we are very much grateful to your presence here today. That shows your commitment to Guinea, not for Guinea, but for the Guinean, because Guineans want to change their life. And as you can see, most of you go to Guinea, it's a young government. The president and then all the ministers, I think you're going to see them now, you'll be surprised, but it's a drive, the willpower that we want to take this country forward. Thank you. Before I leave, I want to show the video first. Huh?
Un plan de développement stratégique qui soit bien ficelé et ce qui implique aussi un environnement des affaires, un environnement, un cadre macroéconomique soutenu et incitatif. Pensez-vous que actuellement le cadre est favorable ou qu'est-ce que vous envisagez? Quelle est votre vision là-dessus?
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Ministre, Monsieur, Madame le Ministre, Monsieur le Docteur. As the Vision 2040, which is derived by the vision of the President, is a planification, as I said earlier, is a 5-pillar. And then you have to understand that when you talk about the vision of the program, the first component of the Simandu program is the project itself. That's the first thing, which has drive a lot of capex, about 20 billion, the project, the railway. The second that we want to do for this program is to, as you said, we're going to receive a lot of money, but if we don't put where to put some of the regulation, it never goes. So that's why we are thinking to create sovereign wealth fund. That's the second thing. The third, we are looking to go for Guinea. Our economy is not rated. We are looking to be rated to go to the market. And the fourth, obviously, is our friend from IMF, is we think that it's good to have a program for IMF. These are the 4 areas in order to make sure this vision is sustainable. And the second thing is about the 4th pillar. As I said, the President want to make sure whatever we are putting today can resist to the time and to the people. The first pillar is agro-industry. Guinea moving forward, we have about 13 million arable land. But if you want to get to 10,000 hectares, you can't find anywhere. So now the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister in charge need to make sure we do the management of all these so that in 15 years' time, if you want to have 10,000, 1 million acre, you can have that one. That's the first thing. As I said earlier, Mamou want to make sure Mamou become the economic free zone of Guinea because it's the center of the country. The second, education. As the doctor was mentioning, education is extremely important because the project itself, 20% is allocated for young Guinean bride to send abroad for good education. By 5% also is doing for the education, primary, secondary, and tertiary. The education that we are doing today, we're not making sure not only building schools, but have the best teachers the best education. Guinea, we call it mining country, but we need to project ourselves to have one of the best #1 mining university institute in Africa. That's a vision that we want to do. At the same time, culture, we have started already. You have seen the branding. Guinea today, we have like branding, you see all these things is branding. We want to be proud of our culture. The third is about infrastructure, transportation, as well as technology. We have a target of building more than 10,000 kilometers of bitumen, 10,000 of rural road, and also want to build, obviously, what we call the port, deep port. In technology, we have 1 submarine cable today. Guinea is projecting 2040 to have 2 or 3 submarine cables. The fourth is finance, finance as well as economy and then insurances. If you want to do houses today, we don't have a housing bank. We don't have an agriculture bank. The vision to create all these banks and also the sovereign wealth fund. The last one is pretty much the healthcare. We need to understand that whatever I'm saying right now, we have started 3 years ago. Because right now, we have done, the government have done more than 1,000 kilometers road. And then we are building the administrative city. We are building 4 hospitals. This is the help of our partners. Can it be ECA financing, can it be the donors, World Bank and African Development Bank, and so on and so forth. All these are extremely important to look into it. We talk about project, and then the last thing I want to add, this is talk to our investors to come to Guinea. Because all these projects, we have a 5 cluster. Even if we have a 5 project or 4 project per cluster, we'll have a 20 big project. These 20 big projects, we have a plan. Either we're going to fund them as PPP, public-private partnerships. We invite private sector to come, but in order to do that, we need to have studies. We have an agency who's going to be targeted to do only the studies. And if it's not funded by PPP, we have to go by equity. Hence why we are creating the Sovereign Wealth Fund. The next session, we'll talk about that one in depth, but we'll go to the capital market to raise capital to fund the project we want to do. So eventually, this is the plan. We are in the elaboration of the plan. People might say we are very ambitious. This is not a round table for donors for the plan that we normally used to do. But this time around, we want to talk about the plan that we are elaborating. We are very much hopeful because we are talking to some of our partners that are coming to Guinea to help Guinea to shape up either the planification, the sovereign wealth fund, and the rating. So we are talking to them so that Guinea can be on the map of the world today. So it's extremely important that the plan we are elaborating, we know how to fund it. We want to, talk to our friend to come with us to trade to do this area. The last thing about investment you are saying, Guinea, we are very fortunate. We talk about the Chateau d'eau de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. I always like to say, if you talk to Guinea today, we have many countries here today, they take their name from Guinea. If you talk about Senegal, the name came from River Senegal, the river is born from Guinea. You have Gambia, the same thing, Gambia River, the name came from Guinea. You have Nigeria, the name came from Guinea. All these, we have water sources, we need to say, that's what the Minister of Environment was alluding. We need to protect our environment to make sure all this water can stay in Guinea. It's a line of opportunity. People always ask me, why Guinea? My answer is simple. Why not Guinea? Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
So we'll be covering a few topics here, and I would like to start with the Minister of Budget, Mr. Fassine Silla. If you can walk us through a little bit on the priorities, the investment priorities of the government of Guinea, right? So what are those priorities right now? And as the Minister of Budget, how are you looking forward to finance those priorities as a program of the 2040 plan that the government has? How is the government going about doing that? And maybe you can also touch on some of those infrastructure priorities that the government is working on today. Mr. Fassine, the floor is yours.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Chan, cher frère. Votre question sur les priorités du gouvernement en termes d'infrastructure ont été suffisamment élaborées par mes collègues, surtout celui du plan. Donc, permettez-moi rapidement de passer comment nous allons financer tout ceci. comment nous allons financer tous ces projets? Vous voyez, Dr Donald Kaberuka a dit quelque chose qui a complètement bouleversé ce que je voulais dire et ce que j'ai fait. Et il a raison. Vous pouvez être très beau, ça vous n'avez rien fait pour ça, et physiquement bien doté, vous n'avez rien fait pour ça. Mais vous vous mettez à fumer, à boire de l'alcool, à l'accès et à brûler les bougies de la vie des deux côtés. Celui qui n'a pas eu tout ce que Dieu vous a donné, à la fin du jour, il s'en sortira mieux que vous et vous serez super très vite. Donc, partant de cette similarité, qu'est-ce que nous voulons, qu'est-ce que nous allons faire pour financer ces projets? Avant tout, un cadre macroéconomique stable. J'ai coutume à dire que qu'est-ce que le président Paul Kagame a en commun avec le président Patrice Talon, ou a en commun avec le président Macky Sall, ou leur grand frère avec le président Ouattara. C'est la rigueur dans la gestion de tout ce qu'ils entreprennent sur le plan macroéconomique. Et cela, ils se font toujours accompagner par des partenaires réputés en la matière. En l'occurrence ici, la Banque mondiale et le FMI. Avoir un cadre macroéconomique stable. C'est pourquoi nous voulons le faire nous aussi. Et une autre remarque, le Dr Donald Kaberuka, sur c'est une affaire guinéenne, pas une affaire des partenaires. Ce que les partenaires doivent faire, c'est ce qu'ils vont suivre. Et pour revenir sur le corps de ta question, sur comment nous allons financer, pour vous donner une idée, actuellement, le gouvernement guinéen en ressources liquides, c'est-à-dire ce qu'elle collecte en interne, se situe autour de 4 milliards d'euros. Ou, comme on est dans le pays de l'homme, disons à peu près 5 milliards de dollars. Le projet ciment, si nous nous comportons comme des rentiers, c'est-à-dire on s'assoit, on ne fait absolument rien, on ne capitalise sur rien, va nous rapporter, selon la structuration actuelle, un cash de près de 2 milliards de dollars par an. Ce qui fait près de 5%, 50% de croissance en matière de revenus internes. C'est beaucoup. C'est ça. Ouais. Donc, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour cette marque? D'où l'importance d'un cadre stratégique bien défini et bien pensé à l'avance qui va financer les 4 secteurs. Mais s'il y a un secteur sur lequel nous voulons vraiment mettre l'accent dans le cadre de ce projet, c'est l'éducation. 20% des revenus de tout ce qui est train et autres infrastructures vont aller dans le financement de l'éducation des meilleurs fils de la Guinée, quelle que soit leur origine. Et il en est de même que 5% des revenus de Simandou aussi qui vont être alloués directement à l'éducation. Et une fois qu'on a touché l'éducation, le fait de ruissellement sur les autres secteurs deviendra très important. Pour les infrastructures, cela va de soi. Nous serons dans les PPP et d'autres modes de financement qui ont été élaborés par mes prédécesseurs. Voilà ce que je pouvais dire à ce point. Merci beaucoup.
Also, His Excellency Morana Souma, Minister of Economy and Finance. Can you give them a round of applause, please, to encourage her? Her Excellency, Mrs. Jami Jallo, Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development of the Republic of Guinea. Dr. Donald Kaberuka, President and Associate Director at Southbridge Group, High Representative of the African Union for financing the Union and the Peace Fund. And to moderate this panel, I would like to call on Dr. Mohamed Lamin Doumbouya, Coordinator of MAMRI, to come join us, please.
Monsieur le ministre, Monsieur le Président, Mesdames et Messieurs, Madame l'ambassadrice, merci. Je suis très honoré de pouvoir modérer ce premier panel. Alors, ce que je vais faire, puisqu'on n'a pas assez de temps, je vais me servir de cette présentation qui vient d'être faite sur Simandou. De toute façon, je ne pourrais pas faire mieux que ce qui a été fait. Et je vais directement aller au but. Donc, l'objectif de ce panel est de discuter autour de la stratégie. Quelle est la stratégie que notre économie devrait, ou notre pays devrait suivre dans le cadre de ce grand programme. Je vais quand même me permettre de présenter les différents panélistes. Je vais commencer par le président Kabiluka. Le président Kabiluka est président et directeur associé de Southbridge Group et haut représentant de l'Union africaine pour le financement de l'Union et du Fonds pour la paix et ancien président de la Banque africaine du développement de 2005 à 2015. Il est ancien ministre des Finances et de la Planification économique du Rwanda. Il a été, ancien ministre de la Planification du Rwanda de 1997 à 2005. Ensuite, nous avons nos trois ministres, à commencer par Madame la ministre de l'Environnement, Madame Diami Diallo. Ensuite, Monsieur le ministre de l'Économie et des Finances, Monsieur Mourana Souma, et Monsieur le ministre du Plan et de la Coopération internationale, Monsieur Ismaël Nabé. Monsieur le ministre, je voudrais commencer par, puisqu'on parle de Simandou, on parle de programme économique, donc je voudrais commencer par m'adresser au ministre de l'Économie et des Finances. Monsieur le ministre, comment est-ce que la Guinée devrait se planifier dans la gestion des retombées de ce méga projet, et du point de vue macroéconomique et du point de vue socio-économique éventuellement.
Merci. Merci, monsieur le ministre Doumbouya. Avec la permission du cher aîné, Premier ministre Kaberuka, je vais procéder à une tentative d'apporter quelques éléments de clarification sur votre question. Simandou, on est en train de faire une anticipation. C'est pour cela que nous parlons d'un programme de développement pour répondre aux besoins de nos concitoyens en lien avec tout ce que Simandou va apporter au pays en termes de ressources, j'allais dire financières, en termes de mobilisation donc, des recettes. Pour cela, il est utile de se préparer pour rebondir, pour ne pas être dans un effet de déchiquetage, pour être la malédiction du vainqueur. Ça veut dire que l'État guinéen anticipe, puisqu'il y a l'impact macroéconomique de Simandou dans la phase de construction, mais il y a aussi l'impact macroéconomique pendant l'exploitation. Au titre de l'impact macroéconomique dans la phase de construction, il faut retenir qu'il y aura à peu près 18 milliards d'investissements qui sont annoncés entre 2022 et 2026. Ça, c'est dans la phase de construction, donc de préparation en allant vers la mise en production. Ça veut dire que l'économie locale va être boostée, puisqu'il y a ce qu'on appelle un flot d'investissement venant des partenaires de consortium, Mini, Rio Tinto et Bao. Donc il faut que l'économie locale soit à même de répondre à cette injonction de devises, à cette injonction de cash pour des besoins d'investissement. C'est pour cela, de notre côté, nous dressons un programme de développement qui puisse pouvoir prendre en compte les cash flows attendus. C'est pour cela, dans cette dynamique, on a pensé à ce qu'on appelle, par exemple, la mise en place d'un fonds d'investissement souverain, d'un fonds souverain. C'est juste des idées qui permettront d'avoir un compte de stabilisation pour ne pas tomber dans ce qu'on appelle la malédiction des vainqueurs. Autrement dit, on a beaucoup de ressources, mais les disparités augmentent et la pauvreté augmente. C'est pour cela qu'il y aura cet appel de fonds d'investissement. Il y aura ce qu'on appelle des investissements de façon globale qui vont être structurés dans divers domaines. Le ministre du Plan le sait, il dira mieux les éléments d'interaction. Toutes nos villes sont des villes de production agricole. Alors, il faut trouver des connexions des centres de production vers les centres de commercialisation. Ça, c'est les recettes qui vont venir de Simandou, qui peuvent nous permettre de désenclaver tous ces corridors pour que les productions qui sont faites en Moyenne-Guinée puissent être drainées vers les surfaces de vente. Donc ce sont là les éléments les plus probants de réponse à la mise en production de Simandou avec toutes les recettes que ça va donner.
Merci.
Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le ministre. Merci pour ces réponses. Ce qui me permet de passer à Madame la ministre de l'Environnement. Nous sommes dans une situation où, d'abord, de là où vont venir ces minerais de fer, c'est classé comme étant un patrimoine, en tout cas dans la zone, parce qu'il y a des espaces qui sont extrêmement importants là. Ensuite, ça va traverser quasiment toutes les régions de la Guinée, ce qui implique des impacts sur les conditions de vie. Peut-être de nouvelles villes vont être créées, des villes secondaires vont se mettre en place. Donc, l'environnement aussi, certainement, va en être impacté. Comment est-ce que les Guinéens peuvent avoir la garantie que cette exploitation va se faire, mais à leur profit, tout en préservant l'environnement?
Merci, Monsieur le modérateur. Alors, les questions environnementales sont au cœur de la stratégie de développement de notre gouvernement. Et cela résulte directement de la vision du chef de l'État, le général Mamadi Doumbouya, qui envisage une Guinée prospère, mais préservée pour les générations futures. Et cet élément est une des causes même du principe du co-développement du projet Simandou qui a été mis en place en réunissant des acteurs qui ont chacun leur point fort. Donc, les questions environnementales ont été des questions auxquelles nous avons pensé dès le départ dans la structuration de ce projet. Et spécifiquement, ce sont les meilleurs standards en termes d'environnement, de normes sociales et de gouvernance qui sont appliqués au projet. Il s'agit notamment des normes de performance de la SFI en matière de durabilité environnementale et sociale et du principe de l'équateur. Car au-delà des retombées économiques de ce projet pour les populations actuelles, qui va vraiment être un vecteur de transformation, il il est crucial de s'assurer que les écosystèmes uniques de notre pays sont préservés pour le bien-être des générations futures.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Je m'en viens à Monsieur le Président de la Banque africaine de développement. Monsieur le Président, vous avez été ministre en charge de l'économie et de la planification, président de la Banque africaine de développement. Certainement, vous êtes une personne ressource et bien placée pour nous aider à éviter, par exemple, cette proposition de malédiction de vainqueur. Qu'est-ce que nous pourrions faire pour pouvoir non seulement absorber toute cette manne qui arrive, créer des conditions d'une transformation structurelle de l'économie nationale. Oui, vous pouvez le dire en anglais.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me and for allowing me to speak in English. My French is okay, but not as good enough to explain what I want to say here. My connection to Guinea goes back 20 years. And over time, the word I always heard about Guinea was potential. How the country has got the potential of everything, agriculture, mining, water, everything, which is true. And we tried our best to help the different governments to turn potential into reality. We didn't always succeed, but sometimes we did succeed. Now, for the purpose of this conversation, because the ministers are here, they can explain better the policy of the government. I just want to put 3 ideas here, both for the government, the companies, and the financiers. When I visited the Conakry, I did explain that there is no established relationship between natural wealth and prosperity. It is not linear, it is not automatic. And if in the indeed the way now experts explain it, there are 2 types of wealth in the world. Wealth number 1 is the wealth you inherit from God. So you have done nothing to deserve it, you simply have inherited it. It could be diamonds, it could be iron ore, it could be gold, it could be oil, it could be anything. But then there is wealth you create. And the successful countries are those who manage to turn inherited wealth into created wealth. And so the challenge of a project like Simandu is precisely that. How do you go from inherited wealth to created wealth? You create it in agriculture, in industry, in education, and so on. Now, there are many things you have to do that. I don't have time to explain that today. But it's very important that you understand this. The second thing I want you to say here, I've looked carefully at mining economies in Africa and around the world. There is one underlying feature which I hope Guineans will understand, and the mining companies and financiers. A mining industry is a very long-term proposition. And when I say long-term, I'm not talking about 30, 40 years. Something can go up to 100 years. It's a long-term proposition. And so successful mining economies are those where, between the government, the mining companies, the financiers, and society at large create a long-term relationship. It's almost like marriage. Because in a span of 50, 60 years, there will be several governments. Okay? There will be governments come and go of these ideas. But that relationship, for it to succeed, it must have been built on the basis of a very long-term relationship. And for it to be a long-term relationship, it has to be fair to both sides. It has to be equitable and sustainable. What I've seen in many governments in Africa where money is big, people are looking for short-term gains, whether they are on the financing side, the mining companies, or the government. That does not work in the mining industry. It's a very long-term relationship. If you don't understand this, it is a huge challenge. And so, I am happy when I hear ministers describe the macroeconomic framework we have to create. Huge investment in a small economy. That is not a rocket science, we know how to do it. When I was in Guinea, I was impressed by the solid level of the macroeconomic aggregates. They look very good. I don't know if they have changed since. But also they were very, very good. Very good. Whether it is the deficit or stability of the currency or the other indicators. So I have no doubt that I hope we will continue on that line of macroeconomic stability. Number two, ESG. So I'm happy to hear the Minister for Environment. So unless you look at carefully these social and governance issues and you incorporate them, which some countries fail to do, you will get the Dutch disease. But the Dutch disease is a combination of macroeconomic distortions, appreciation of the exchange rate, right, and failure on the equitable distribution of the benefits. So then there are people moving from some which is non-tradable in tradable sector, is called in our language. There's movement between the two, which damage the economy. So it has to go together. It's not about money only. It's about society at large. And the last point I want to say, sir, because we don't have much time today, is that I want you to be extremely careful on issues around laws, regulations, whether it's about royalties, about dividends, whatever it is. When I was head of the African Development Bank, the Guinea government asked me to help them in these negotiations. And we dispatched a team of highly trained lawyers at Guinea to help them negotiate these contracts. I don't know if they're still there, I think they're still under. Make use of them in order to negotiate these balancing contracts, which will create stability, predictability over the long term. The long-term relationship I've just mentioned. Otherwise, it's not difficult. We all know how to dig minerals from the soil and transport them to where they're going. But unless you have these fundamentals, you have challenges transforming, first of all, in terms of adding value, but then moving from this natural wealth to creative wealth, which is about human capital especially, and then about predictability over the long term. This is what I want to say. But with the ministers, I don't think I should explain that.
Thank you very much. Mr. President,
we acted as financial and strategic advisor to the government on the cefanfou project. I believe it was very interesting to hear the presentation from our panelists before on why the cefanfou project can serve as an example and a basis to build the cefanfou 2040 vision. And to me, few of the pillars of the cefanfou project can be useful to build that vision. So I would perhaps note three different things which have been said earlier. The first is the notion of co-development, where the public sector and the private sector join forces to develop the project. Second, I would note the very important insistence of the government on the environmental, social and governance standards for the cefanfou project. And I believe the same ambition will be followed for the Vision Simandou 2040. And last, I have also noted the ambition of the government in terms of local content for the Simandou project, and that is also something where I believe the standards have been put very high by the government, and this can definitely serve as a benchmark for the Simandou Vision to 2040.
Thank you so very much. The reason why we're doing this is to make sure we...
So maybe I just want to open it up a little bit about, you know, the sovereign wealth fund or other type of mechanisms that can be put in place. So I think I'll be free, since I have the mic, to call on some of the people on the audience. Dr. Kaberuka, would love to hear from you, from your knowledge and experience on harnessing such resources through sovereign wealth funds or any other mechanisms that can make sure that those revenues that are coming into government coffers, right, thanks to this exploitation of the resources, are actually benefiting the people. How can we avoid another natural resources curse in Guinea?
I think this is for the minister. That was you. I don't pay taxes in Guinea. And where am I to quantificate? Just a word of caution, which I didn't mention, my colleagues already talked about. There are several types of sovereign wealth funds. There's a variety. All of them in accordance with what we call the Santiago principles, which are quite dynamic. I think the problem is that we don't think through clearly what kind of sovereign wealth fund. So number one, there is what we call an intergenerational sovereign wealth fund. So there is one time. I think il faut pour génération future. Alors, à l'échelle de temps et de manière, génération future, c'est bon, mais les générations présentes. So that is one. There is what we call a counter-cyclical fund, which some countries use to see them through what are difficulties in the cycles of the process of these products. Then there is what is closer to a normal investment fund. The truth of the matter is our countries probably need a mixture of the three. Right? But whatever model you choose, what you say is important. It is the governance of it, the predictability, which in turn the success of it. So one country, no names, they've got a big sovereign fund. They have huge resources again, but they set up what was largely a new intergenerational fund. But when there was a dip in the price of that product, the big funds just went in collected for billion. So what they know, the fund was asking me, I don't know what they saw the law, ignorant. I don't know how to claim it back from them. Because the rules up front were not very clear. So I always urge our countries who set up these funds to define at the beginning what is it that you're trying to achieve. Number two, are you prepared to abide by these regulations? Because if you are not, then it creates what they call in the French.
Yes.
Qu'est-ce que des beaux consignation. There's no things. But I do believe that what you mentioned about. So what are the rules? Who enforces the rules? What are the government functions? This thing is extremely important. I know at least at least three very successful sovereign funds in Africa. Very successful. And one of them, to give you an example, when the price of diamond went crashed into a global financial crisis, these guys were thinking about $32 billion in a certain country. And they had to do adjustment. And they chose, rather than to raise the fund, they chose to do a classic adjustment, cut expenditures, increase other revenues, So they did three things to close the list. At no time did they violate the rules of the civil defense fund to go to a That is the kind of discipline which is needed. But then I don't pay taxes in Guinea, so I should be careful.
De faire avec un capex estimé à plus de 15 milliards de dollars US.